Are finding time to get a chance to shoot. I know our school schedule is a little off and weird at the time, but I was thinking about you guys. The last wedding I photographed, and just before all this stuff kind of closed and everything here. Um, so I just wanted to share. I was outside in front of this church in the city, and I put it on aperture priority. So I selected the aperture and I let my camera do the shutter, and I put it on spot meter. So if you remember, that's wherever I kind of move that little spot in the camera, it will kind of dictate the other half of the exposure there. So this is in Lightroom. To give you an idea, if you look up here, we are at f 5.6 for my aperture. My ISO is 500. Okay, I'm shooting it wide open. My focal length there, and then it set my shutter speed based off where I pointed it. And I always try to look again. I always try to look, and again, remember when you're looking at the image, it's going to try to see what is exposed properly. So really, if we look at kind of the white parts here, this portion, right, these guys, and all this, I definitely had my dot pointed there. We can see that's exposed perfectly. Where this area here, little darker, little darker, little darker, right, and obviously much darker. So it's exposed properly in here, right? Now the next image, you'll see that where I pointed it, it definitely read it and made it a lot darker. And here, everything else stayed the same. My ISO is at 500, right? Same, width as far as my focal length. My aperture is 5.6, and my shutter jumped up to 200, right? So much darker all the way around. Good for the clouds in the skies. Good for the branches, but you can definitely see the difference. Not so great for, in this case, showing the bride and groom what the church looks like. And then the next image, it looks like actually about the same yet. So that's the same. I moved my dot around a couple different spots, right? This one's even a little darker here, right? So we went from all this stuff stayed the same, but now my shutter speed's at 500, right? I think I actually pointed this into like the sky area there. And then, or no, I'm sorry guys, I apologize. I actually changed my, rather than pointing it at in spot, I actually changed it to the overall, right? So this is the difference between overall. And the next image you'll actually see the spot. So let me back up here real quick, okay? Spot meter, okay, on the white, center weight, okay, overall, all right? And that's overall there, okay? That's kind of the evaluative metering. That's taking everything into account, and that's what it got, right? And then I go back to spot here, right? And then you'll see here that it jumps all the way to 1/20th of a second because I was exposing the spot right in here, okay? I was exposing for the red brick. I did that intentionally. I wanted to show you the difference. You'll see all the red brick across the whole building is pretty even here. Now we have these white parts a little overexposed. Obviously the sky is way overexposed because everything stayed the same except for my shutter speed. Right? It went all the way to 20th of a second. And I guarantee you, because of that, we zoom in. Now, it doesn't look totally out of focus here, but I bet as we zoom in here, we're going to start to see how this is out of focus a little bit, right? Because it's creating motion at 20th of a second. All this stuff is just getting a little bit of blur, right? There's a guy out here, okay? I bet if I bounce back to the 60th of a second one, we won't see as much of that, okay? This is the 60th. Now, if I bounce in, we can actually see the wording and everything's a little more in focus. Yep, there we go. All right, so that's the difference in there, 60th of a second to 20th of a second. Got it picked up, oh, not that one. Picked up some blur in there. And this is, again, this is just playing with spot. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. Not this one, but the next one, I point my spot right at the tippy top here, right towards the clock. That's where my spot was going. And that looks pretty good. It might be a tad dark, but I mean, we're like really nitpicking there. But it's in focus and it's exposed well. But you see all the rest of this gets dark here, right? And now we look at the the exposure, and we're at 100th of a second. So through these we saw 60th of a second, 20th of a second, 500th of a second, 200th of a second. This one looks like it's it's relatively decent. We just have to create a little lighter here, and then that's the next guy there. Same thing. Right? I point at the same spot. I noticed that it picked up a little more of the ambiance of the clock here. All right, So in this one, the clock's not really lit. This one it is. I don't know if that's just by sheer luck or turned on at that exact spot, but obviously it looks a little better. And you can see my image is crooked. I'm kind of not shooting it that well as far as technically, but the beauty about Lightroom is that we can kind of correct some of that. I actually have another tutorial I can actually send you here, but we can do things simply at, something as like leveling out and even trying to correct full tilts there, and you can see the difference in there. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a quick, like, simple example of how just changing your metering can totally make the image look vastly different. This is the image I'm actually going to edit for my client, right? And when I say edit, I mean I actually just basically made it the exposure I want to make it, and this is what they'll see. These other guys are all going to be trash here, basically. I hope that helps. Sorry for the long